So from the analogy of e-bike, we learned that it takes time. We need to be patient in order to get the acceptance, the adoption, and that's there will be, and also that there will be people who critics this innovation, but if the product works and you deliver on your promise, keep going, because market will adapt.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Create Tomorrow podcast. I'm your host, Cassandra Napoli, head of consumer forecasting at WGSN. Every 2 weeks, I will take you on a journey to examine how trends are translated into aesthetics and product design. In this episode, we'll hear from Nicola Colombo, founder of electronic ski gear brand E-SKIMO, which is aiming to revolutionize snow sports with e-assist skis that are democratizing the ski mountaineering market. Nicola, please tell us who you are, what you do, and a bit about your career journey so far.
Yeah, thanks, Cassandra, for having me here. I'm Nicola Colombo. I was born in Milan, Italy, and now I'm living in Switzerland. But throughout my life, I've been living in US and then in China for 5 years. So I've been, let's say, traveling around the world. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, both in the digital and physical world. So that's basically me.
So I'm fascinated by your company. I'm an avid skier myself, so of course I was drawn into this. I think with the timing being around the Olympics, people have skiing and snow sports on their mind at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit about your brand, which I think is pronounced E-SKIMO, right?
That's correct. E-SKIMO. That it's a sort of acronym of electric ski mountaineering. That's essentially what the name stands for. It's basically the first electric-assisted ski mountaineering device. So it's aiming to provide assistance, reduce the physical strain while skiing in the flat or uphill in the climb.
And from my understanding, that's a sport that's debuting at the Milan Olympics. Is that correct? Ski mountaineering.
That's correct. It's going to be on stage next week, I think 18 and 19, in a place called Bormio. That's where this ski mountaineering would be on stage. It's going to be fun to see these amazing athletes on the slopes for the first time.
So when I say I'm an avid skier myself, I am not an expert though. I'm not ski mountaineering. Let's get that straight. I'm going on the lift and I'm going up and then I'm, slowly making my way down the mountain. So I'm very much a resort skier, right? Ski mountaineering, if I'm correct, is the idea of essentially climbing uphill, skis intact, and that's part of the adventure. It's probably going backcountry kind of terrain that's maybe not accessible to the masses. You have to genuinely climb up the mountain to get back down. So your product is attempting to solve that. Is that correct?
It is, but I think ski mountaineering, it's quite a broad concept. There are practitioners that they are actually aiming to do this backcountry exploration adventure. But there's also a lot of people that like the physical exercise to climb, but they want to do it in a more safe environment. So they prefer to go uphill on market trails. So, for example, here in Europe, on the Alps, we are getting more and more tracked trails to go uphill in a safer environment, maybe not exposed to rain, not to be at risk of avalanches and related risks.
Are you going after a certain demographic, young skiers, new skiers, established skiers, kind of all of the above? Is there a generational divide?
As any new product, it's we also have to learn. We're learning now that we have a significant. I mean, it's 100 units is a very small, but at least it gave us the opportunity to basically test out more with different segments. We initially targeted more senior people, let's say 55 plus. But now we are seeing, especially in controlled environment, market trails, where also families just want to go out, similarly to cross-country skiing. Now that you go, it's almost like a trekking outside. So I think it's really depending also on the type of usage. Now, I can give you the analogy. If you do downhill mountain bike. I don't know if you're familiar with the Rampage Red Bull race that they do in the canyons. That's obviously for young freestyler that they like the thrill, but the bicycle is also used by people that like to go out for a ride on a gravel road and just enjoy the nature. So the tool, it also depends on the place and how you use it, how it becomes then suitable for a certain target. So we are learning and creating, let's say, the best experience based on the different consumer segments that we are facing.
So tell us about your product. What is it? How did you design it? And why does it sort of revolutionize this idea of ski mountaineering?
It's been a long journey. We've been developing for more than almost 5 years now. That's what the first prototype delivered to us at the very first iteration. We immediately understood the potential, that there was the possibility to adopt something that can really give benefits when you go uphill, to climb faster, to reduce the effort. But between a first prototype and what we have now on the market, there has been a lot of iteration. The complexity of bringing electronic components on a harsh environment. We operate in very low temperature. We have to maintain the weight also quite low because you have to operate the skis as a normal ski. So there's a lot of technical challenges that we had to address over time. And also the most compelling feature that we always maintain as the top priority for us was providing the assistance, let's say, providing the power in the most natural way possible, in a way that you feel you are stronger, you don't feel you are on a ski-doo or something motorized. So the natural feeling for us has been always on top of priority.
Before I understood really what the product itself, was and who it was designed for, I was thinking about accessibility. People who might not have the ability to enjoy skiing in a way that is as freeing as perhaps an electric device or connected device could allow them to be. Is that something that you're interested in exploring, kind of getting more people out on the mountain in a safe manner through connected device?
Yeah, that's for us part of our mission. It's really to bring more people, but in a respectful and sustainable way. Now, it doesn't mean unregulated and disrespectful use or consumption of the mountain. So environment, we have it's a gift that we have to respect and protect. So more people, but always in a conscious usage way.
Do you think it's sort of rendering a future where more people can access these environments then? Is this product just for, experts and mountaineers, people who are racers perhaps, or is it for the masses?
So where we see the biggest potential is really on the people that are not avid skiers, that they maybe want to do it as an experience, to go out, stay in the outdoor. And there's a lot of terrain. There's a lot of places in whether it is North America or even in the Nordic regions here in Europe, where there are huge spaces with gentle hills, moderate risk terrain, where people can really use this as a new winter mobility device. That's where we started to see a lot of traction also in this way, not only from the people who already practice ski mountaineering.
We are moving into this sort of like electric vehicle, sort of mobility age. And skiing is an interesting iteration of that. I think it's interesting, but I think there is risk too. Like if you're democratizing access to new areas of a mountain that perhaps are more dangerous, should the avid skier, or should the non-avid skier, the skier that's, like me, who's probably not equipped for backcountry and really adventurous skiing, who needs to just be on the sort of paved mountain going down, is there risk involved in allowing more people access to areas perhaps they shouldn't be on a mountain?
From a statistical standpoint, obviously, the more people practice something that exposed to risk, potentially the higher the number of accident that can happen. That's the numbers. But essentially, it's also a matter of education, get the people understanding what they are doing. It's the same with the bicycle. Now, if you are going for a trail ride in a simple gravel road, you know the risk. But if I take you for the first time, you're riding a bike on a very steep trail and a rocky mountain, I'm going to expose you to a big risk because you don't have the technique to practice it. So it definitely have to go with education, eventually also some regulations. And the good thing now, we are now exploring new use cases. We have resorts that are asking for E-SKIMO in a form of rental. And what we prepare is a feature that allow to operate E-SKIMO only in certain trails because it's connected to GPS. So we can actually also control and avoid that people would go in exposed terrain, let's say over a cliff where they can potentially put themselves in danger.
So you think that E-SKIMO could kind of arrive to lots of different ski resorts, and it could be just a new type of ski travel for people headed up and downhill?
Yes, I see, and we actually getting the demand from resorts, not only on the Alps, but now I just came back from Finland last week. I was there because there's a lot of tourism over there, and even mobility. Over there they have 6 months a year snow-capped terrain, so even longer winters than we do have on the Alps where I'm based. So definitely it's an opportunity, and then also for the passionate, the pro that goes out every weekend, definitely buying and owning the device makes sense. But if you go only a couple of times per year, you just can go out there, enjoy the experience, use it in a very simple terrain, not too dangerous, having the resort that take care also about the safety, and you can do this nice experience of staying on the outdoor for a few hours, and it's in the winter environment, which is magical, I would say.
So how does the product work? There are lithium batteries, a motor, a conveyor belt. I know that there are 3 types of modes. We've got Eco, Climb, and Boost, offering different types of power assistance. Talk us through the product itself and how you designed it and how you sort of iterated during the research and development process.
Right. So what we wanted to bring is a device that provide power in the most natural ways possible, so that you feel like you have more power in your legs. So that means the activation, it's smart in a way that it's provided by sensors. So what the skis does, it's feeling where your foot are and basically activate based on the movement of your legs and your heel in relation to the ski. The components are similar. It's always easy to picture it out for people who may be already familiar with e-bikes. Essentially, there is an electric motor on each ski, a battery, and then this brain, let's say the processor that acquire the information from the sensors and make decision every millisecond, almost in real time, to decide how to deliver the power. Also because there's a decision to be made in a way to deliver the power. So the system makes decision based on the steepness, what is if you are on a flatter terrain, you're trying to do longer steps, while if you are on a steeper terrain, your steps becomes shorter. So all these logics are implemented, and we develop specific algorithms that basically provide this power in this smart way. We use a lot of AI to model out the algorithm, and then within the execution, you can decide how much assistance level you can use. So you can quickly switch between 3 modes: the Eco, the Climb, and the Boost mode. And then in your app, you can further configure and customize the modes as well.
I imagine geolocation is a part of this.
Absolutely. I mean, now that we basically created a connected device on the slopes, on the snow, it opens up a lot of opportunities. So we already started some conversation with service provider in safety, but also in tracking. You know, our system already have a tracking enabled. We are aiming to also integrate with the sport devices like the sport watches or apps like Strava, also to make sure that whatever practice you do with the E-SKIMO, it's becoming part of your active life tracking. So, but in essence, then all the safety devices, so the beacon, they normally, it's part of the end user to decide what they want to have their own gear and choosing their own. It's similar to, let's say, the boots. You know, we don't sell the boots, you choose based on your preferences. But definitely the connectivity, the fact that it's a connected device, it's giving us opportunities for new safety measure. And one of those is basically geofencing the system in resorts that giving for rental to avoid users to go in areas that are exposing them to risks.
Oh, I first discovered you guys at CES, which I think was last year. Yeah, that was 2025 at CES. And I think the design itself has evolved quite a bit since then. Can you talk us a little bit, or can you talk us through a little bit how your initial prototype, what you presented then versus now, and perhaps where you think in the next year it could go from a design perspective?
Let me share a fun fact about CES last year. No, we went with a quite early prototype, somehow thinking, you know, why Vegas? Why presenting a ski in the desert? No, it was already something like contradictory. But we were part of a group of Swiss tech companies, and we've been selected, you know, as a good innovation. So we said, okay, let's go. And we were not really ready also to do such an event, and we've been overwhelmed by the attention. The first night, we got so many journalists. And everybody, well, but we want to try. How can we try? So what we did, we basically, for the day after, we basically rent out the entire ice rink of Vegas, and we invited all the journalists on the ice to test it out. It was a blast because everybody then could immediately feel and understand how to use it in that. So that the CES was for us really the traction, the proof that we were going in the right direction. And that's where then we really accelerated the last iteration to bring from that prototype version to the production version we have now. So we really put a lot of effort throughout last year, and we did a final rush to produce to make the final production. So we consider that we started delivering at the end of December. So it's really something that it's out there in the market since days, essentially.
And obviously, we have a whole mobility revolution happening with electric, vehicles, electric scooters, electric bikes, etc. Have you leaned on any of those companies or brands, or just from an industry perspective, have you leaned on those, established entities already to, interpret how that could be filtered down through the lens of skiing?
Absolutely. We, one of our advisor and mentor, it was a former CEO on e-bike, big brand. So we learned a lot from there. That's also give me a bridge to another topic that is innovation, not always easy to be accepted, especially when you enter in a market where they have a tradition. Now skiing, it's made of tradition. People have been using these skis, and thinking about an app that connect my ski, it's already blowing the mind of many. So from the analogy of e-bike, we learned that it takes time. We need to be patient in order to get the acceptance, the adoption, and that's there will be, and also that there will be people who critiques this innovation, but if the product works and you deliver on your promise, keep going, because market will adapt.
So you keep talking about education. I'm wondering about educating the consumer. How are you getting people excited about this? What has the reaction been from the ski community, both there in Europe but also globally?
Yeah, the reactions are mixed. If you see on the medias, the various outlets that talk about us, which is a lot, there's a polarization. The haters that really criticize very strongly, because their main arguments are around the fact that more people will be in the mountain, which is also, the objection, I would say, at the end. Also, the ski resorts bring a lot of people, so at the end, it's not new people that are out there, it's within the existing users. The other objection is also, well, the mountain, it's all about your physical effort. So if you are getting some help, you're cheating. So you are a cheater because you're getting some help. So you're not earn the turn to get on the top. Those are the two main objections that the detractors use. But also we have a huge majority and a very vast amount of people that are actually embracing this innovation favorably, even if they are not maybe potential target now.
What about the research and design? So how are you iterating now? How are you what's that next stage of design for you?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster in the last years. Now the priority for us has been on the reliability. But we've been very happy, even if it's only not even 2 months since we have all these items out there that are running, some of them every day. So the reliability, it's a very good. We get some very good results. That means that next iteration we can maybe shave a little bit of bulkiness in some lines. We can maybe save a few grams here and there. So definitely next iteration, now that we have a lot of data of real usage, to make it a bit nicer, cuter, and also lighter, because it's important that the device, it's comparable, as much as possible to traditional skis.
Yeah, I imagine some funky colors in the mix in the future. The way that, typical ski colors are. My ski outfit is a hot pink onesie. So I think ski and snowboarding generally lend itself to sort of flamboyant design and kind of bold colors and stuff. So that's exciting. What are some of the other challenges in adoption? So I've read about the battery sort of being limited due to the terrain. So very cold temperatures, it's obviously wet snow, so it can kind of limit the battery lifespan, I guess. So I do worry about, somebody being sort of stuck in the middle of nowhere and not being able to get back. How are you designing and solving for that?
Right. As opposed to maybe when you go uphill and then you run out of battery, by gravitation you can go down. So this is not really that much of a what was called, even in the first electric cars, people were having this range anxiety. That can I get there, or I need to charge before I get there. In our use case might not be that much the case, but because we are operating in very cold temperature, the battery life vary a lot. In very cold temperature, you can lose 20 to 30% of the range that you might have in a more standard cold temperature. In Celsius, for us, standard operation is up to -10, but when the temperature goes -20, -30, like in the Nordic, of course the range can be reduced. But that's unfortunately part of the current limits of batteries that are out there in the market. But it's also something that is evolving, not because of us, but because the batteries are used by many other applications. So it's just a matter of time when the batteries will become lighter, more dense, and also capable of store energy also in more extreme temperature.
Very interesting. And if you could, paint a picture for us for the next year or so, what can we expect from the electric ski industry and from E-SKIMO in particular?
Well, that's let's say, what I can pin as my desired outcome would be becoming we hope and we welcome additional players. So that means that the market it's validating. And we hope that this will transform the industry as we have seen it in the e-bike, bringing more people to stay active longer by age. So keep going out even a few years after you would otherwise do with traditional devices, and also to see this in parallel to be supported by the ski resorts or parts that offers right places to operate in respect of the nature.
Amazing. And like always, I ask all of my guests, who is somebody, could be a company, a person, an idea that you really admire that you think is creating a new version of tomorrow. So who is your pick?
To this extent, I want to think about bigger of systems. Now we are all so much impacted by the development in AI. So there are, a few leaders that are now bringing a disruption and a big innovation. Out of the most common names, I probably pick up someone that maybe most of the consumer doesn't know very much. The CEO of Google DeepMind, that is Demis Hassabis. I think among those AI innovator, I can refer to him as one that rather than let's say advancing AI and potentially distracting us, it's potentially can advance the humanity. So that's one of his missions. So I see as a role model in bringing AI innovation in a responsible manner.
Thank you to my guest, Nicola Colombo, founder of electronic ski gear brand E-SKIMO. If you're a WGSN subscriber, look out for more trends at WGSN.com. And if you're not a subscriber, please come and discover our services. We'll be back with our next episode soon, but in the meantime, catch the CEO of WGSN, Carla Buzzacci, on our other podcast, Lives of Tomorrow. I'm your host, Cassandra Napoli. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast, and see you next time.